I really never thought about this. When was the last time, other than like a very, very close like guy friend or like a parent, that you had a hug? Like if you're a guy specifically, I think that a lot of us can admit that we maybe aren't as affectionate as some other girls are, or some other people are, or whatever. And it happens. That's just how life is. But when I really thought about this question, and I really like look deep into my own desires, I start to realize that guys like me, or at least guys like me and you, there isn't, it feels like at least there's not much love to go around. It's a rough reality. And what made me think about this was I'm in a community online, and it's a bunch of like self improvement guys, and we all talk about fitness and improving ourselves and how to optimize sleep and how to optimize like our lives and going outside, what times to go outside to avoid sun cancer, and if sun cancer even comes from sunlight, and all this type of stuff. And it made me think because a couple of the boys in there had sent like a heart, just showing like love and appreciation, like for our messaging, and like we would send like videos like this, like helping each other, like explaining, like having a conversation, but through video, but like singular one, so it wasn't like a call. It was like we were busy or whatever. But every few hours, we would send like a video responding to what the other person said. It's like a debate, but like a friendly debate. And at the end of it, super respectful. We were all like, okay, like love and appreciation, bro. Like, thanks. And then like it'd be a heart. And I was like, huh, guys don't do that in the real world. When do you, and it sounds a little bit gay to think about, but when in your life have you ever had a guy send you a heart? You usually don't. And these penguins are having sex, by the way. You never see it. And these guys, they just don't experience that. And one of the like deepest desires of a lot of young men is just like some type of physical contact. Like, I don't, maybe I'm just outing myself, but I'm sure you've been the type of guy to like hug your pillow when you fall asleep, like imagining it was someone, right? I don't do this anymore, I think. Yeah, no, I don't do that. Well, I don't do it anymore. But that's so crazy to me. When thinking back, when was the last time I had like a loving hug? 6 months ago? When I was still good with my now ex-girlfriend? See, we look at our old relationships and we think it's just stupid. It was just for like lust, or it was just for like a physical desire, which I'm not saying that's appropriate. I still sinned. I still did things that I shouldn't have done. I still had sex. I still kissed a girl I shouldn't have kissed. I still like hurt part of my soul from it. And I still can regret that. And I still can say, I'm not going to do that again. But at the same time, it's so much harder once you understand like the internal desire behind it, that yeah, but when's the next time you're going to hug someone? When's the next time you're going to have somebody who wants to hold you and want to kiss you and be close with you and trust you and let you in? I've always been of the mindset of everything that happens to us is 100% our fault, our responsibility. And what I mean by that is, if you make a mistake, it was your fault. If you succeed, it was your fault. If some crazy thing happens, if you get hit by a meteor, you should not have been in that city. You should have looked at the news beforehand. There's always something that you can do. And I've come to realize there's all I've realized that there's always something you can do, but depending on who you are, it's a lot harder. So for example, if you're naturally predisposed to being skinny like me, I started off at like 90 pounds and I was the same height I am now. I'm now like 146 of this morning. I'm on a cut. The heaviest I was like 152. When I was first getting into fitness, I built zero muscle. Random black guy on the street builds way more muscle than I do because genetics, and we're genetically predisposed to different things. I think that you as a young man, you as hopefully a Christian, hopefully somebody who at least believes in God, can look at this experience of this want, this desire for like that physical affection, and think to yourself that, yes, I want it, but I don't have it for a reason. I don't have it because I haven't waited long enough. I don't have it because God hasn't allowed me to have it yet, because I'm not ready for it, because I know I'm going to mess it up. If I'm going to be completely honest and transparent, I messed up my last relationship through lustful actions, through just being unfaithful is how I'm going to describe it. And maybe you've heard me talk about it before. I'm not going to go into it here, but being unfaithful. And I lost probably one of the biggest desires of guys, of young men, of men, which is like the physical aspect. But the thing is, on the same token, I would like to think that I'm strong enough to go like this for as long as possible, with the hope that I meet my future wife, and the hope that I make it to the point to where I'm deserving of somebody who's on my level. Because I hold myself to a high standard. I do my very best all of the time. At least I try to. And a lot of times we can get sick of not doing our best. We can think that, man, I just want to rest. I don't want to get up tomorrow. I don't want to do more. I don't want to keep working. I don't want to keep going. I just want a hug. I just want a nice girl who sits in a bed with me, who I just like fall asleep and never wake up with. Not never wake up in like a negative thing, but I can just be in paradise forever. You can have that. Just wait. Let's say you're 20. Wait 70 more years, 80 more years. It's hard to have that like deep loving connection with someone. And my goal in life is really just to provide value to the world. And if I could give you one piece of advice, just from my own experience, from the life that I've lived, done a couple of hard things, done a couple of easy things, made a bunch of mistakes, done a bunch of things very, very, very right. I would say you're going to have to do your best regardless. It's going to be hard in some way, shape, or form regardless. You're going to struggle regardless. You're going to fail God in many ways regardless. You're going to have not necessarily regrets, because if you act with courage and you act with action, then you won't feel regrets, but you always know that you could have done better in some way. There's always that 0.001% improvement. If you get in a fight and like a boxing match and you set up the perfect strike, you don't get hit at all, you hit them right on the chin, one shot, fight's over. Could have did it 0.1 seconds faster. Always something to improve. That's always going to be in your head in some way, shape, or form. My advice would to be, never be content. Always try and grow. Always try and do better. Always try and be the best version of yourself that you possibly can. Turn sadness and longing for these feelings and emotions into an element of anger that you can control. Be angry that you don't have these things and use it to be your very best self so you can achieve them. because anger is a number one motivator. And I believe that it is allowed into our psyche by God. That there's a verse in the Bible saying, be angry, but do not sin. You can be angry, but don't sin. Use it in the right way. Use your anger with the world to provide good work. Use your anger with the world in order to provide value to people. Use your anger at the world in order to spread the message of God, to spread the gospel, whatever it is. I think that if everybody did that, we'd all get more hugs, which is what this video kind of started with. But also, we would just be better off in general. A little bit more coffee. I have a Christian body blueprint. You can see it here with basically like 10, 20 hours of courses. It's basically just teaching you how to build a aesthetic body, how to eat more as a skinny guy, how to level up your sleep, cardio, all that type of stuff, just being like genuinely like really good physical shape. I'm a little bit jacked, if you can't tell. At least I'd like to think so. Started off at a pretty low point. A bunch of self-improvement stuff in here of how to improve your life, how to be better, how to just be an overall more happy, successful individual. If you're interested in that, then you can check it out. But other than that, I appreciate you. Things are going to get better. I know clicking on this type of video title, you're probably in a bad spot. I've been there. You've been there. I made it out, which shows you that it is possible, right? I was a depressed, suicidal kid who didn't want to be here, who didn't want anything to do with absolutely anything, who fell into all of the instant gratification activities. And now I'm here, spreading a message to you that I hope can be the thing that plants a seed into you changing your life. So without further ado, or without any more ado, I should say. Cheers. My name has been Brandon. Keep doing the best, doing your best. Trust God. Signing off.